Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, football fans of all ages. This is Tim May along with
Bill Rabinowitz.
Bill. We just got a little open segment with the wide receivers and wide receiver coach Zach Smith today, which some of the stuff was pretty enlightening. I mean, what just struck you?
Well, this is an angry group. I mean, this is a unit that knows it didn't play very well last year, knows there are a lot of eyes on it this year, and they have to produce. And you know, they don't have a lot in terms of returning production coming back.
You know, what struck me is there's some older guys in this group, like you're just talking about, and it's kind of put up or shut up time for several of them. I mean, when you're looking at Terry McLaurin coming back, he was a starter last year. KJ Hill kind of got banged up in the middle of the year, but he's back. And when he was in there last year, I thought he showed flashes of being, you know, sort of a go-to guy. The problem was last year of the group we were just talking to, there was no go-to guy. I mean, the go-to guy was Curtis Samuel, who's now in the National Football League. The next leading receiver that's back, it was Marcus Ball, you know, who's a tight end. Right. So, yeah, I think there are quite a few guys that have a lot to prove. And, you know, but every time we talk about wide receivers, I almost forget about him. And it's unfortunate because I think he could be the real breakout player, maybe even from a regional or national basis this year in terms of people figuring out who he is Johnny Dixon.
Yeah, he's had the knee issues his entire career. It looked like his career was really over. He and Urban Meyer had a talk, and they decided to give it one last go, and he's been great. Very good spring there. They're really excited about him.
You know, and the thing about Johnny, too, is the thing he had to get over was he had a chronic knee condition, which when it would get to that point in the pain threshold, he had trouble just pushing through it because, I mean, what the heck? His knee. But what he found out finally and got convinced about was, hey, push through it, you might be able to deal with it. And that's exactly what he did. In that moment, for him, that whatever you want to call it, epiphany, for want of another word, came in January and February when he figured out, yeah, I can push and he go here, and now I can play. And I keep reminding people, Alabama wanted this young man, you know, and when he finally signed with Ohio State way back when, and he could be a true bonus to this team that's looking for a credible passing offense against good opponents. And but then on down the line, Benjamin Victor, like you pointed out, Benjamin Victor was kind of came on slowly last year, but did play some. I think another guy who's hidden in the background here who could really be a bust out, who we thought might be, was Austin Mack.
He had a very strong spring last year. People talked about him, and then, as often happens with freshmen, kind of hit that wall. Yeah. And you know, but he's a polished guy. I mean, it's interesting, the X position with Austin Mack and Ben Victor. You know, Victor's the guy who's got the incredible ceiling, but is inconsistent. Mack is more, I think, the more consistent guy, but maybe doesn't have as quite a high ceiling. But between them, they've got to get production out of that position.
And as you just heard from off camera, you know, when it comes to major college football, the train stops for no one. It may blow its whistle, but it's going to keep moving. And, you know, I'm looking at these freshmen who've come in, Jalen Harris, Trayvon Grimes, who's still not 100%, but I think he might be able to start running routes maybe as early as next week. And then Elijah Gardner. I mean, these guys have all kind of flashed things out there on the practice field, but I'm going to be writing about this next week. It's difficult for freshmen to play in this offense as wide receivers unless they're, you know, for want of another explanation, Chris Carter. I mean, you know, you've got to, and he was kind of in the right place at the right time with great talent, but all of these guys, all three of those guys could figure out a way to contribute this year.
Yeah, they need at least 6 guys. That's what Zach Smith said. It's not going to be a starting 3. It's going to be 6 guys. They really need a 7th in case of injury or whatever. Right. So, you know, I think they have the talent. I don't think it's ever been a question of these guys just can't play. It's consistency. It's getting on the same page. And the thing about it, especially the deep passing game, which is what struggled last year, it takes really 3 elements. The receivers got to put the ball on target, the offensive line has to protect, and the receivers have to get open and catch the ball. And too often, you know, only 2 of the 3 or 1 of those 3 happen. So it's not all on the wide receivers. It's not all on JT Barrett or the offensive line. But if anything breaks down, they all look bad, and that's what happened.
The interesting thing too is that we've talked about guys coming along, but the guy who definitely has the bit between his teeth is Paris Campbell. I mean, he thinks he's ready for this moment. I mean, Curtis Samuel, we all saw what the hybrid back could bring to the offense. Matter of fact, a lot of times the hybrid back was the only guy in the offense last year that JT Barrett trusted to get the ball to. And boy, there's definitely a difference in the way Paris Campbell's even talking to us. Whatever, he has a confidence about him that's obvious.
Yeah, and same with Terry McLaurin. All these guys know this is it. I mean, it's put up or shut up time. And if they want to play at the next level, or even give themselves a chance to play at the next level, they've got to do it. And I think this wide receiver group might be the most intriguing unit on the whole team.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We'll be back to talk about more things about Ohio State football, maybe Saturday after they have a scrimmage. We don't get to watch most of it, but we might get to see a few things there, and we'll get to talk to some players after that to kind of keep you updated here on what's going on in Ohio State's preseason football camp. But until then, this is Tim May.
Bill Rabinowitz, thanks for watching.